Leo men in relationships can make excellent partners. They're passionate, loving, and they're not afraid to show affection. There are downsides to being in a relationship with a Leo.
This is all you wanted to get to, or the negatives?
No, he can be stubborn and jealous, and he'll flirt with people who aren't you, like the two girls in Dallas.
That don't even exist yet, by the way.
One of the best things about being in a relationship with a Leo is he wants to make sure you know he loves you.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
you
true.
you're warm and affectionate. He'll give you
Yep.
gifts. He'll shout his love from the rooftops if he thinks he needs to.
That's gay. I don't do that.
His passion and flair for the dramatic aren't for everyone, of course.
Not me.
What some people see as loving, others see as over the top.
Yeah, that sounds smothering. That's definitely not my vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
miss
that last line is totally true though. On the
what?
negative side of things, you'll have trouble getting him to stop flirting with other people. He doesn't see it as a problem. I don't see it as a problem.
Aha!
Yeah.
It's all about what does the person you're with, your partner feel about it? And if she understands you and she doesn't take it personally, then it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, whether they take it personally or not is not going to change how I am as a person. Like I've my everything I have in my life I've made on personality. I'm not a George Clooney in case you guys are fucking blind. So everything I've made in my life I've made on personality and making people smile and feel engaged. I would never allow the presence of another human being to dim who I am at all in any fucking circumstance whatsoever.
Yeah, and it
Eh,
says here
I've had to really put a lot of work in almost 40 years of life to like myself for who I am. I'll be goddamned if I turn that off for anybody else ever. And fuck any woman who I ever encounter in my life who would ever ask me to do that for their own insecurity. What a weak pussy way to be as a chick.
to what ask someone to what, stop flirting?
Oh, could you stop being yourself? It's making me uncomfortable. I would never be with a woman like that.
No, of course not. She sounds like, you
That
don't wanna be with
sounds like
somebody
a real
uptight and
nagging
controlling.
coont. Yeah. Ugh. Who wants to be around one of
But if
those?
you're not with somebody who's like that, what are you worried about?
I'm not worried about it. I'm saying
Okay.
that's why I would never be with somebody like that.
Hmm, okay.
Every woman that's ever been with me for any amount of time is attracted to the fact that I'm like that. So they would never be like, don't be that way.
Yeah.
You know, they don't love me because I'm piping them down from fucking 10 feet across the room. That's not happening. So, I'm not showering. They're not driving around in Bentleys. So if they don't
Yeah.
like who I am as a person, chances are they're not going to be there.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with, well, I think that there's a difference between, like, being personable and charming versus flirting, and I feel like you know what I mean? Like, I think you're more, like, charming than you are, like, oh, if you meet a woman that you're like, you gotta be like, "Eh," you wanna, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
guess,
"What's
I
more?
mean,
Do you wanna see my"
it's
you're not,
not
like,
up.
making sexual advances, you're more,
Yeah,
like,
no, no.
being charming and
I don't
lovable.
make sexual advances to my fucking old lady because I'm not a creep. So I just have never been that way. Like, you ever seen this thing where like dudes will be talking to a chick at a bar and they'll like grab her hand and like, ugh, ugh. I mean, I say, have you ever seen that? I'm sure you've experienced it, but it's like
Oh, yeah.
there's a level of cringe to the way men flirt with women that is like vomit inducing for me. Where I'm just like, stop being so fucking desperate and corny. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, and for me, like for women, so much of what I jive with women is like their personality and their vibe and their attitude. So like, and that's the other thing too, is like when that really is how you're wired, you don't have a type. You don't have like a profile of like who you're with. Like if you put every woman I've ever dated or been with in a lineup, you'd think you were looking at central casting. You just be like,
Okay,
none
so
of these
not
things are the same
looks,
thing.
but
No, all of
personality-wise,
it,
there's a
looks,
type.
personality, everything. Like you'd have religious black women, you have Middle Eastern chicks who are, hippies. You'd have
But they probably
tattooed
all
white
have
girl
things in
hippies. Like,
common, like,
no, they're
love
very
a guy with
different.
a good sense of humor. They all had in common the qualities you have, what they go
Maybe.
for in a
Well,
guy.
that they like, but that doesn't make them the same.
No.
And and the things that they didn't like, obviously why relationships didn't continue. A lot of times it was that they did not like. Like they didn't like there were a lot of like firecracker chicks that I was really into when I was in my 20s that couldn't stand being around somebody else who could take over the room. Like, they hated that. They
Mm.
hated anyone who took attention away from them.
Yeah, that's a pretty insecure. I feel like that's a young person thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if it, I don't know if it had anything to do with like their horoscope or their astrology or whatever, but we were, 23, 24 at the time, 26. Like, of course, that's it.
Yeah.
And then there are women who, I will tell you this, there are a lot of women who are very pretty, who men tell them what they want to hear all the time. And I don't do that. I don't tell anybody what they want to hear. I tell them what I want to say or what I think. And I think I've hit, I've bat above, or punched above my weight, because of that, because there are pretty women who are used to men pandering to them, and I don't fucking do that, and they appreciate the honesty.
That's
And then
true.
they have to see me naked and they go, I can be lied to. I don't need to.
I've noticed too. I can, rattle off a few examples of people I know who like, oh yeah, they're pretty, so they have not really been checked much in their life. Like
Ever,
their
yeah.
their bad qualities have run amok because guys wanna fuck them and girls, wanna be friends with them. I don't know, or
Yeah.
maybe they
Yeah,
don't
you're
have a
right.
lot of good girlfriends.
Yeah, so you hit a woman like that between the eyes with a real dose of reality about who she is. And in a weird way, it's like a fucking aphrodisiac. I'll never forget this. I took a girl on a date. I used to have a test date that I would take women on when I lived in Long Beach when I first moved here. There was a shitty hole in the wall Mexican place that I loved, but it was like between a liquor store and a laundromat in an old strip mall. And it was like a pile of shit, but the food was incredible. And I would take girls there because immediately, depending on how comfortable or uncomfortable they were in this location, I could tell everything I needed to know about whether or not they were superficial or they were about the substance of things. And I took a girl to this place one time on a date, and she was like, man, this place is a real shithole. And I go, oh, yeah? Why? And she goes, well, look at it. And I go, well, what about the people or the food? Like, you haven't even seen anything that
Uh-oh.
really
You're
about yet,
already
right?
tallying up a score.
And she's going, well, yeah, but it doesn't matter because it looks like shit. It's just gross. And I go, okay,
Ooh.
cool. And she goes, for future reference, you shouldn't bring me to places like this. And I go, oh, I'm never bringing you anywhere ever again.
Alright, see, I admire this woman being direct and telling you what she wanted, because if I
Yes.
had been there, I would've sucked it up and, like, probably not said anything. I would've
But
been like,
she was shocked that I gave back to her and I go, oh, there'll be no second date. I'm not bringing you anywhere. You're a very superficial bitch. I'm not bringing you out on another date. And then she was just like, so what do we do now? And I go, well, I'm going to order, and I'm going to sit here and enjoy myself. And, you feel free
so
to
you
stay.
didn't
And
care about
not at
you
all.
didn't think it would
No,
be you weren't even gonna entertain the idea of maybe finding a different spot to eat because
no.
you didn't like it?
No, test failed, you dumb bitch. And that's why I take them on them. And you failed. And I told her she failed. And then we just sat there. And by the way, but almost like having this out in the beginning of the date made it a very relaxing interaction. And we actually had a good time just hanging out and talking to each other. And then at the end of the night, she was mad that I was like, no, no, I'm still never going to see you again. We have nothing in common. I
And
don't like you as a person.
that probably made her want you even more. She's like,
It
"Damn it.
did, it did. She
Damn it,
was, like,
Josh.
creaming
Let's
her
fuck."
fucking pants afterwards, and I was just like, "Okay, well, this is what's wrong with you as a species."
Oh. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like I've changed a lot since meeting Frank. Like, I feel like being with the same person for so many years, they're constantly holding up a mirror, and, like, you can't get away with bad habits so much, whereas if you're constantly jumping around person to person, single most of the time, like, you can you're not gonna grow as much. If you have somebody who, like, loves you and wants you to be the best version of yourself, like, you should be constantly kind of correcting each other,
Well, it's the
I
old
think.
iron sharpens iron mentality. I think if you're with a person who is like-minded and shares similar values, you can sharpen each other that way. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I think you guys fit each other very well. Like, I mean, I haven't gotten to spend time with you together, but just through conversation with you and conversation with Frank, I think you're very sort of complementary to each other. And I can see where, maybe the personality traits that he has complement things that you have, and vice versa. Like, one of you is probably more pragmatic and the other one more sort of impulsive and go with the flow. And so as long as you have like a good balance like that, I think it's good. But you also have to sort of appreciate the balance in your relationships too. Like, you have to value the ways that you're different, and not everybody can do that. Like, there are people that get along great, and they don't necessarily appreciate their differences, which I think is a necessary part for any relationship to last either, is to just go like, oh, I like for instance, I like sports and my girl hates sports. And so she's like, don't ever ask me to go to sports things, and don't take me to sport. And I go, cool. I don't bring you. I'll take other people. We'll go. We'll have a good time.
Yeah. I think
So,
as I've
and I don't want to be around black people, so she can do that. No, I'm kidding. She can do all that she wants. I just hit her with the Donald Sterling. I go, just don't take pictures with them.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.